Hey, well, welcome back to the ARC Path.
My name is Bernard,
And my name's Casey.
and we are doing Leadership Today 2.0.
It's part two. We cut it last time. So if you're starting this podcast with us right now, go back and listen to the last one, because there is so much that we're not going to re-say that the first one was better because it led up to this point.
I think so. I think so. And we guys, it is so much fun to be passionate about the conversation, and this is one conversation that fires Casey and I, and
Oh,
honestly, we can go for days just pushing the envelope of leadership because it's just what we're all called to do.
I want to go back to the last thing you said because I wanted to springboard with it, but you were talking about the fact that when you're in the wrong spot, that you're doing the wrong thing, you've given up on leadership, you've walked away from it. Can you capture it?
Let me try. Let
Yeah,
me try. So again, we were talking about burnout
that was the burn.
and how leaders burn out, and so you come to a decision point with burnout, and that decision point is, what do I do? Do I stay and fight, or do I leave?
Mm.
And what we find is there's different levels of burnout, but there's at some point what we see is leaders, they invest so much into where they're at, and then they go, I give up. And what I was capturing in that moment is that that point where you're about to give up, it's because you're in the wrong place doing the wrong thing at the wrong time. Your focus is in the wrong thing. But instead of switching, jumping onto a different ship and leaving your post, the part that we didn't get to, which is circling the wagons, going, hey, wait a minute, we're doing the wrong thing. Hey, everybody, stop what you're doing. We're doing the wrong thing. Let's refocus
Hmm.
on what's happening here before you jump ship.
Okay. Two things that you called it up very well. Thank you.
Okay.
The first one was the difference between a legacy leader
Mm,
and not. So the legacy leader is the one that doesn't give up.
yes.
Because they recognize that their leadership is going to live beyond them. If it's all about me, then and it gets hard, then I might as well do something different because why should I choose to do something hard?
Yeah.
I'm better than this. I'm a better leader. I've had success here. I've had success here. I've had success here. And then I get to a place that I'm not having success. And so I jump ship.
Yes.
And in that, my leadership is all about me.
Mm,
So that was the first thing. And we may go here, we may not, but I equated that to you just divorce yourself from your own leadership. You've invested so much work and you go, I'll just walk away from it. It's easier. I'll start over. And so that was one concept. The second concept that was in there that I just really enjoyed, I lost it here for a second. Um, let's just stay with the first.
love that. I appreciate that you did that because that was a lot. A legacy leader,
Yeah.
I'm going to pick it up, is what do you leave behind? And this is going to hurt. I'm sorry, guys. What you leave behind,
They're ready for it. It's 2.0.
it's 2.0, guys. It's what you leave behind is surrender or victory. So imagine, again, if you're on a ship and you're driving a team or a project or whatever, and you get to an impasse, you go, this is not working for me. And you go, I'm gonna leave.
Mm.
And are you leaving in a state of surrender, or are you leaving in a state of victory? And this is no judgment zone. Again, I've been in so many leadership positions. I've done both, but I didn't know the language, what I was doing. Now I do. And so as I fight in different businesses and different relationships, I have to acknowledge, do I want to surrender? And that just leaves like this bitter, and I go, wait a minute, what do I need? What do I need to release so I can get my passion back, so that I can continue to fight to a place of victory, not to an end place. So victory doesn't mean that there's this end place where, like, this halo and music and blue skies. That's not a place of victory. It's a place of mutual connection and intimacy with other people. And that is the place of victory, where you're leaving a place in a right state of mind. You're leaving a community of friends and connection. They don't feel like, hey, you're dipping out, and it's a war zone. Clean it up and then go, hey, you know what? I'm leaving from a place of victory, not from a place of bitter surrender.
And I want to bring two things together. One is we kind of couched leadership is not about being in control.
Correct.
So as we enter into leadership, recognizing that it's not about my control, the surrender you're talking about is actually giving up to going back to control. It's converse. So a lot of times when we think of surrender, it's like, well, I give up. Well, what you're giving up in the surrender of leadership is, I give up not being in control.
Yeah.
I want to take control back so that I can make a decision. Because a lot of times in leaders make decisions, and the reason why people walk away from legacy is it's a hard decision. But I really believe, I'm really convinced there are no hard decisions. There are only small decisions that compound and compound and compound. So when you're in the place of going, I just don't know what to do, rewind the tape. Go back to the last time you felt really confident and you knew exactly what to do, and then play it forward a little bit more with introspection and looking for the place where you go, where did I lose that confidence? Where did I lose my ability to know? It's probably the place you took control.
Yes.
And now you're in a place going, okay, well, now I've got control and I'm expected to solve and fix. Maybe I'll just surrender this thing and walk away.
Mhm.
So it's a complicated phrase, but what I'm gonna summarize it. We let go of control when we step into the leadership of influence, because influence is not control. I'm influencing.
Yep.
Once we begin to question whether or not we're leading in the right way, somehow control slip back in. And it's what motivates us to actually walk away from what we've invested in.
I love that. I love that was guys. That was deep. If you, um, it, if you can go back and just play that clip over again, what Casey is walking you through is that acknowledgement. Going, I'm at an impasse in a conversation, at a point in a project, in a business, in a relationship, and what's there, and no matter what's there, anything that's bitter, frustrating, has to be released.
Yes.
And I'm not saying it's this thing where I'm gonna pretend that I release it. It's about people. It's about intimacy and authentic, genuine conversation. Relationship is having connection with people. Going, hey, you know what? There's something here. I don't know what it is. You know, again, I don't need to have control, but I can go. Can we figure out what this is? Because I don't want to come here every day and fight with you. I don't want to come here have this conflict. This is weird. And the acknowledging, going, it's not necessarily my way, and you're not necessarily the problem. And that's the issue, is we all think he's the problem, she's the problem. And so once you release that, you find that peace, and then you can move in the that healing and restoration,
Mm-hmm.
which at that point you can start to influence people in love. And that's where leadership thrives versus it breaks down. And we're talking about should I stay or should I go? I think that was a song.
But and you let it up. I want to go back to I dropped the divorce word in here, and we talked about our wives in this leadership podcast quite a bit. You know, as we've been down this road for more than, you're almost at 3 decades. I'm well into the second half of the second decade. We recognize there's something about leadership that is worth investing in.
Mm,
And what makes marriage work is continual investment, a continual reigniting of the fire. That was what we talked about in the first part of the podcast. In 1.0 was, we need to ignite our passion every day. And I just want to speak, and if you're in this podcast, it's because you really like us, or you're really committed to this because you came back to this point. When you choose to divorce yourself from leadership, you are recognizing that you no longer want to influence the people you're leading with love. Okay, so now tie that into marriage. There's a point in time when you recognize, I'm going to get divorced. You no longer believe you have influence in love with your partner.
yes.
And what I'm going to tie that to is, rewind the tape. Go back. There was a point in time when you began to believe, I don't have influence. That's, you got to rewind the tape to the belief spot, because nobody gets married in order to get divorced. It's just way too costly, way too painful, way too not in anybody's mind. On the day you say I do, your intention is to be wed. And at that crossroads, you have 100% possibility of making it. And at that crossroads, statistically, you have just as much likelihood that you're not going to make it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 50-50 chance. And yet, everybody on day one believes we're going to make it. It's leadership.
Guys, that's difficult, guys.
Oh, I went there.
I skipped over that when he said it the first time.
I know
and
you
he brought it back, and it's celebrated in modern businesses where, especially in the corporate realm, to go to a position and oh, we want you to have diversity, and people celebrate the different positions that you've been in and the things that you've accomplished, and it's this whole me conversation. Look what I did here. Look what I did here. Look what I did here, and but when you bring this concept of victory. In terms of relationships,
Yes.
then and again, Casey brought the word divorce. When you give up on the people around you and you jump to the next place, you're wounding people.
Yeah.
Financial costs, whatever. I mean, people don't understand it, and it's painful as a business owner to see the cost of divorce within a business, if you want to bring that terminology. But it's just when people give up, there's a huge financial cost going, gosh, we could have built this better, faster, more efficient with you, and but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
So it's a sad reality that the people left behind have to acknowledge, heal, restore from it, and then go, we're going to move on, and we're going to make space for somebody new to take the position.
There's a reason why we boast of the AHRK path, is because we have made mistakes.
Yes.
So I just, as I bring up these words, I want to apologize if I have hurt you, if my leadership has left a mark on you that you don't have joy about. Bernard can say the same thing. I know I can speak for both of us, that we go, there's been people we've hurt. And those are places that we've gone back and asked for forgiveness in order to restore and find a way forward in that element. Leadership is messy.
Yes.
And it's messy because it deals with people. And it deals with people because people are what matter the most. And in relationships, it's gonna need to go back and go, how do we heal? How do we restore? How do we reconcile? How do we do this? And if you don't choose that AHRK path experience, then you're going to walk away from legacy. And so we're just here to acknowledge we can get really excited and have a whole lot of fun talking about the glamour and the glitz of leadership, but that's where we're going back into the position. That's where we're going back into the title. That's where we're going back into control. The dirtiness of leadership is when you're in the trench with people and you're going, I don't know how to go forward with you.
No.
There are hard choices of leadership, and some of those are to be able to say, I'm letting you go from your position. Yeah. And as a leader, I have to let somebody go from their position when it's not the position that is best designed for them,
Correct.
Nor they for that position.
Correct.
Those are hard choices.
Very tough.
But like I said earlier, there are no hard choices in leadership. When I release somebody from a position, it's because I believe that they are designed and destined to do something else greater.
Correct. I love that.
And they might not like me for that.
And it's messy. I mean, but again, you go, well, I mean, you know what? I don't want it to be messy. And the contrast to messy is empty. I want you guys to know that is, if you don't take on the mantle of leadership, if you don't take on making these choices, the hard choices, the easy choices, however you want to look at it, because it could go either way. Yeah. As Casey was saying, nobody goes into a relationship going, it's going to be 100%. No, there's an element that it's at some point it's going to get messy. But that's the joy, that's the encounter in life. But the opposite of messy, it's empty, guys.
Empty.
The victory is empty. All of that, because it's false victory. It's just you patting yourself on the back, or a bunch of other people looking at you going, hey, we're gonna pat you on the back for that, and then you walk away 2 seconds and you go, that no longer feels good unless they're going to walk around just patting you on the back for the next year or so.
Mm-hmm.
You go, you know what, I won, but what did I win? Nothing. Been there, done that, and just release it, guys. Release this concept of control. Pick up this thing. I get to influence somebody today.
Yep.
This is not in this year's position. It's today. I go, get my cup of coffee. I go, who am I going to influence today in love? That's the thing. Because if I influence somebody and it's not in love, it's called control. It is called, don't lie to yourself. Stop it. It is not influence. It is called control. You have to influence and love for it to be authentic and genuine.
So I want to take us all the way back to the beginning of podcast 1.0 on leadership, and that was where you just were. And I want to articulate the below the line indicator that you're not really about people, and it's an unwillingness to ask for help. When you are unwilling to ask for help, you are declaring, I am self-sufficient on my own, thank you. I don't need anybody else to help me. In that moment, you're denying the influence of the world on you. You're saying, I don't need you to influence me. I don't want you to influence me. So I just wanted to highlight, how do I know if I'm moving down a path of leadership burnout? I don't ask for help. How do I know that I'm going down a path that is ending in, I'm metaphorically saying divorce? You're going to walk away from your legacy. I'm unwilling to be mentored. I'm unwilling to ask for help. Let's just pull that out and recognize that anybody who's listening to this podcast today, ask for help. Just put it out there. Somebody has gone down this road before and discovered something. And we want their influence in our lives.
Powerful. You know what? It takes us to 3.0. Have you built enough bridges with connections with people that you can ask them for help? And so it goes back to, what's at the core of our leadership? Who have we mentored? Do we go back to somebody that we've mentored to go, hey, can you help me? Do you have the courage to go back to somebody that's mentored you before? Go, hey, I'm back. Can you help me? I have way too much pride. And can I release that pride to call somebody and go, hey, you know what? Can you help me? Can you mentor me? Because one of the things that I wrote is I'm going to start a new business. That was about 10 minutes ago. So this concept of control, guys, is about perspective. We don't really know when we're behaving like this, and others do. Everybody else knows.
Everybody else can tell,
but we don't know. And this veil that covers our passion, and it's skewed passion. And this perspective, guys, is do you have somebody that you can trust? Do you have a coach, a mentor, somebody in your life that you can call? Go, can I just talk to you for 10 minutes about a story? And if you don't know or believe that you have that, start today. Start finding those people that you can build authentic, genuine connection with so that you have somebody in your life. And if you have them, then call them regularly. Care for them, connect with them, and go, can I tell you a story? And so you can tell me, hey, am I in a place of control or am I in a place of influence? And trust me, guys, you like this story. If you just called Casey and I, and we'll, call us, we'll, set up an appointment. We will do that with you. It's so easy to tell. This is not rocket science. I promise. As much as you think my story is righteous and my position is righteous, just tell your story to somebody and they go, "You're crazy, man. No, you're in the wrong place at the wrong time."
Yeah. Well, Bernard, we dug a little deeper. We went into leadership a little bit farther. We know these 5 lenses of the AHRK path. They all intersect, and they're all so valuable. Today was a podcast 2.0 on leadership, but you can't divorce leadership from lifestyle.
Yes.
If I'm doing one thing when I'm leading and doing another thing when I'm not, there's going to be tension and drama, and it's going to fall apart. And then you can't divorce that from your mindset.
Yes.
What do I really believe, and how do I interpret? How do I understand? And yet, as those 3 come together, your communication is going to be an expression of your leadership lifestyle and mindset.
Yes.
It's going to come through everything you do. And then as you bring in your communication, you're sharing a message with the world. And what are you going to do? You're going to build community. welcome to the ARC path today. It really does begin with leadership and leading yourself. And then it becomes a lifestyle, which expresses your mindset, which impacts the way you communicate in
Oh,
order to build a community that's going to change the world.
okay.
What a golden summary of what we're about today and how we want to invite other people onto the ARC path.
And it's better with you, guys. We want victory with you. We want authentic relationships. If you're listening to this and go, I like that. I like these guys. Reach out. The door's open. Take that leadership stance and go. I'm gonna reach out. And there's a million ways to do that. Again, we scan all of our media channels. We're waiting for you. So reach out. We'd love to see how you express love, which is the ultimate goal in the kingdom, is people expressing love, influence in such a unique flavor. And that's you guys. So we bless you, we celebrate you, and we hope to connect with you soon.
Thanks
Take
for
care.
joining.